In Old China, Charles Lamb writes a reflective essay in which he converses with his cousin Bridget, a stand-in for his sister, Mary Lamb. The essay opens with Lamb admiring an old piece of Chinese porcelain, which sparks a conversation about the sentimental value of such objects. Lamb reflects on how these seemingly simple, antique items evoke nostalgia and bring back memories of a simpler time. The essay is framed by a dialogue between Lamb and Bridget, allowing him to explore the theme of how time, memory, and hardship shape our appreciation of life. Recollection of humble days. Lamb reminisces about the days when he and Bridget were poor, struggling to make ends meet but still finding joy in simple pleasures. He recalls how, despite their financial constraints, they managed to enjoy life with a sense of contentment. Lamb describes how they would save up to buy small luxuries, like a book or a modest treat, and how these modest acquisitions brought them great happiness. The tone is one of fondness for the past, with Lamb portraying their frugal lifestyle as a time of innocence and simplicity. Contrast with present comforts. As the conversation continues, Lamb contrasts their former days of financial struggle with their current, more comfortable circumstances. He acknowledges that, materially, they are much better off now. They can afford more luxuries, and their lives are easier in many ways. However, Lamb argues that the pleasures they experienced in their earlier, humbler days were more vivid and meaningful. There is a sense of nostalgia for the joy and excitement they found in small, rare indulgences when their means were limited. The pleasures of anticipation. One of the central ideas Lamb explores is how the anticipation of something, especially when it is hard to come by, often provides more pleasure than the object or experience itself. He recalls how much they looked forward to simple treats, like a small purchase or a special meal, when they had to save up for them. The excitement and satisfaction of finally obtaining these modest pleasures, Lamb suggests, was greater than the immediate gratification they can now afford. This reflection highlights the human tendency to value things more when they are rare or difficult to attain. The joy of small luxuries. Lamb dwells on how small luxuries, such as a cup of tea or a cherished book, had greater value when they were luxuries rather than everyday occurrences. He and Bridget would delight in these small indulgences, savoring them because they were rare and special. Lamb suggests that this sense of delight has diminished as they have become wealthier and can afford more frequent and greater comforts. The essay subtly critiques the idea that material wealth brings happiness, emphasizing instead the richness of experiences that come from scarcity and anticipation. Romanticizing hardship. Throughout Old China, Lamb acknowledges the hardships they faced during their younger, poorer years but romanticizes them as well. He and Bridget reflect on how, despite their financial difficulties, they felt a sense of fulfillment and contentment. Lamb admits that, in hindsight, the struggles of their past seem almost idyllic because they were accompanied by moments of joy, excitement, and achievement. His reflection suggests that hardship, when looked at through the lens of nostalgia, can take on a kind of beauty, as it often heightens the appreciation of life's simple pleasures. The role of perspective. Lamb's conversation with Bridget reveals how much perspective changes over time. What once seemed like hardship and deprivation now appears to them as a time of simple joys and meaningful experiences. The essay suggests that memory has a way of softening the edges of past difficulties, allowing people to focus more on the happiness they experienced rather than the struggles. Lamb's reflection shows that contentment is often a matter of perspective, and that the passing of time can alter one's understanding of what truly brings happiness. The illusion of abundance. Lamb and Bridget also discuss the idea that having more material wealth does not necessarily lead to greater happiness. Although they are now more financially secure, Lamb admits that they no longer feel the same level of joy and excitement that they once did. The ease with which they can now acquire things has dulled their appreciation for them. Lamb reflects on how abundance can create a kind of indifference or complacency, contrasting sharply with the intense pleasure they once found in rare, hard-earned indulgences. The fleeting nature of happiness. Another theme Lamb touches upon is the fleeting nature of happiness. He acknowledges that the happiness they once derived from small luxuries was temporary, but it was made sweeter by the effort and anticipation involved in obtaining them. Now, with greater wealth and ease, they find that happiness comes and goes more quickly and with less intensity. Lamb's reflection on this change in their emotional landscape suggests that the pursuit of happiness, rather than its attainment, is often the source of the greatest joy. Finding contentment in simplicity in the final paragraphs, Lamb concludes that contentment is not necessarily tied to material wealth or ease. He and Bridget realize that their happiest moments came not from abundance but from the ability to appreciate life's small pleasures. Lamb's reflection on their past leads him to a greater understanding of how true contentment comes from within, from one's outlook on life and ability to find joy in the everyday. Old China ultimately serves as a meditation on the relationship between wealth, happiness, and the importance of cherishing the simple, often overlooked moments in life.